All right, friends. We are now coming down to the last two. This next gentleman, this fine fellow, his name is Jack M. Freedman, and he is the founder and CEO of JMF Chapbooks LLC. This Liberate the Verse project originated with him, and he brought me and Scott Meany on board to essentially help, really take it to where his vision is going and ultimately where all of our visions are going for this book. It is a labor of love, 2 years in the making since JMF's inception in 2017. We have come a long way. We have many projects on the horizon, but this one is our magnum opus, so to speak. So now, and me and Jack go way back. Right across the street was where he and I met in 2004 at the former Muddy Cup Coffee House. It no longer exists, but we were there for every Tuesday night for several years. We even hosted a bunch. So he and I go way back for 15 years of friendship and co-artistic pursuits together. So here he is, Jack M. Freedman.
Thank you for that, Doug. I appreciate that. And also, Morningstar goes way back with me, so I just wanted to give a shout out to the Muddy Cub on all of our behalves, so thank you. We're gonna get started. I got 4 poems for you. Here we go. Sunrises on Saturday mornings before networks had 24-hour programming are vast memories. Sense of light and color from the test pattern, darkness eradicated at the age of 4. Infomercials with Richard Simmons outlined weight loss fallacies, crash diets, laxatives, vomiting, starve for a sense of belonging, excretion of identity, purging taboos of the psychic and psychotic, and then the covers of deal and meal cards eased that need to nourish my spirit, quenching my thirst for love and wisdom. And in the morning I had no rooster to wake me, it was Tootie from the Home Shopping Club who woke me. Gold and emeralds eased my chaos, adoration adorned and fever fueled. Perceptions of color often defined through ColecoVision, Atari, Commodore, low fidelity, higher contrast from reruns of I Love Lucy, The Honeymooners, and The Twilight Zone. I crave boldness in those 8-bit rainbows, skylines done in justice. 16 colors aren't enough. Impossible to fill in a 24-hour day with such restrictions, and I observe the sky through filters, none of which distort reality, but simply accentuate the vividness of heaven. And often I reminisce of 1985, the first time I had a numerical concept of a year. 4 years after my birth, 30 years prior to my father's passing, but these days my eyes are hexadecimal algorithms Pantone has yet to develop, and my vision is HDMI. Pupils are my perspective, darkness, the onyx observation of loneliness and loss, my insatiable need to find a place within this infinite spectrum, my unfulfilled desire to belong. The wheel of fortune spins, luck is pressed. Come on, big money, big money, big money, big money, big bucks, big bucks, big bucks, no whammies, no whammies, no whammies, no whammies, no whammies, stop! Pink hearts, orange stars, yellow moons, green clovers, blue diamonds, purple horseshoes, red balloons, pots of gold, rainbows, trees, blue moons, leprechaun hats, gold coins, shooting stars, crystal balls, hourglasses, keys. These are the talisman of morning magic, ambrosia of oats and marshmallows soaked in milk, but my lucky charms are my rods and cones. They allow me to admire these radiant symbols. All my photos evolved from mud, and this new set of colors is presently paradise, my heaven, my sky, my ether. Perhaps it demonstrates the incorporation of color destined to reach out. Perhaps it's friendlier than the earth upon which I stand. Perhaps I crave that which is limitless, for skies are not ceilings. The outside world is unconfined. My aura showcases skylines. It It was the 3rd of June, another sleepy, dusty Delta day. I was out chopping cotton and my brother was baling hay. And at dinner time we stopped and walked back to the house to eat. And Mama hollered out the back door, y'all remember to wipe your feet. And then she said, I got some news this morning from Choctaw Ridge. Today, Billy Joe McAllister jumped off the Tallahatchie Bridge. On the X10 crossing the Verrazano, I saw a sign that said, "Life is worth living." Underneath it was the phone number for LifeNet, the suicide prevention hotline provided by New York City. Scenery changes to underground where subway trains are electrified by the grid where the edges of platforms need that same sign. I could have been a statistic. I could have hung upon the yellow circle with a black R like fuzzy dice, gambling with my life as if the train was a solitary bullet in a game of Russian roulette. Subway casualties would be denoted in surveys, exposing blankets of trauma by both jumpers and strap hangers. Non-profit organizations might have commemorated my fatality anonymously in a bar graph had the attempt been completed, and many ignore that corny credo entering the hearts and minds of those wanting to transition between earth and ether. Now, consider the emerald tablet, the doctrine of hermetic alchemy. That which is above is like to that which is below, and that which is below is like to that which is above. Heaven and hell, bridges and tunnels, Eros and Thanatos, the blessed and the damned. The will to die is always greeted with an easy and accessible method, and a will to live comes with the complexity derived from avoiding said method. I think of Tennessee Williams' play The Glass Menagerie, remembering how Tom Wingfield was terminated for splaying stanzas on shoeboxes, and I must possibly follow suit in my quest to avoid fatality after 17 minutes passes and another suicide commences. The movies will maneuver my mind to manifest melodies. The moon will motivate my messages. Amid the cranial chaos, I need to be that selfish fucking dreamer. I need to dance with El Diablo in the catacombs of opium dens in Gehenna. But then, my family enters the forefront. The entropy expires, and the dead don't seem so lucky. But with the truth of certainty, and the certainty of truth, the sign that you should live should be in every place one chooses to die. Thank you. Third one I'm going to do is a staple of mine, and here it goes. Allow me to add my 2 cents to the situation. In return, I would like you to subtract the rhetoric that exits your lips and assist me in keeping divisions from multiplying. Now, before I go off on a tangent, let me tell you about the problem I have evaluated. You see, it seems as if every move you make is calculated. I have tried to mind my P's and Q's regarding this issue, but I cannot help myself from arriving at the solution that your ego-induced pollution has planned out like a logic proof for an algebraic matrix or a quadratic equation or a manic locomotive. From day one, I was able to graph the main points of my brain to the axes labeled X and Y. X signifies your attempts to censor others. Y, because you can. My rage is the product of your strategy to further an agenda. It is merely a fraction of this anger being portrayed. That's right. just a percentage. Your position on the number scale of aggravation cannot be located with mortal eyes. It stretches out to an infinite number of miles. There is no final integer. You see, a range of things bother and depress me, and my mood not only swings like a pendulum and a grandfather clock, but also descends and ascends like a parabola. Therefore, I must dig within my brain and use prior knowledge obtained to plot a path across the map on the way to a poem marked with a black X. And for the most part, I think I do a damn good job at getting from A to B without the help of a tutor. I am comfortable with what I know, and I embrace it, and whatever knowledge I may lack is on me. That's all good and great, but I know that you don't know squat if you think you know what little I know, and do you think I care? No. I mean not for this writing to encompass a circular argument, but like a 180-degree angle. Let's get something straight and settle this score. I am neither a letter, nor a number, nor a remedial student. I am just a man with a voice, as some may consider noise that triggers violent waves, but that's my right, ain't it? Aren't we supposed to be equal? Shouldn't symbols resembling more than and less than not be applied or be crossed out? Can't we eliminate all unnecessary variables, all unnecessary formulas, all unnecessary postulates, all unnecessary theorems, all unnecessary programs, diagrams, anagrams, acrostics, diagnostics, cross multiples? This long division has gone on for too long. Repeating multiple times, like 1/3 written as a decimal. Statistics do not reject this claim, although some wanted to be a syntax error or wanted to believe that I forgot to carry the 2 in my calculation, but the remainder of my tolerance hangs by an unraveling thread. I proudly sign my name on this thesis, and my colleagues would proudly co-sign, given that they possess research on this behavior. So we pooled our data together. We share a very reciprocal relationship. However, it does not take Fibonacci or Pascal or Apollonius or Euclid or Euler or Eratosthenes or Archimedes or Maimonides to deduce this verbal dilemma. Your calculations are wrong. The atmosphere provided is negative. The agenda cannot be defined, for it does not compute. Not by any means. Not by any modes. Not by any standard deviation. So tell me, how do you like them applications? The last one I'm going to do is one called 2 words. With only 2 words, I can make a statement so infuriating that it would get me into deep trouble. As a result of using these 2 words, I could be subjected to ostracism, name-calling, cursing, and, on a good day, assault. These retributions, however, are the lesser of all evils. Speaking these words could be the catalyst for arrest, imprisonment, and execution. Uttering these 2 words may be grounds for diagnosing mental instability, and surely they would not be taken seriously. One may wonder how this couplet of conjoined syllables I make reference to can be as offensive as I portray, especially after I mention that it contains no obscenities. This cluster of consonants and vowels is a sentence I use frequently. In a perfect world, there would be no punishment in using these 2 words. In fact, one should be praised for their exclamation. And I know that my colleagues and I have no qualms about saying them, and I know that life would be more productive if we showed little fear in verbalizing the phrase, I disagree. All right. It's my pleasure. Thank you, guys, everybody who has come out thus far. We are now going to move forward to our headliner of the night. This